Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 784 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am, of course, joined today by Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
And Chris DeBona.
Good evening.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this week?
I'm okay.
Yeah,
A little tired.
a little tired.
No,
We're old,
yeah.
so that seems normal.
No, I was in Canada, and then before that, I was looking after my nephew in California. So I just got back yesterday. So
I've been having a heck of a good time building my file server. Yesterday, I transferred over all of my movies from my old file server to my new file server, and I did a bit of a purge. I cleaned something like 300 gigs of copies of Star Wars off of my file server because I had many versions of it. And now
you don't need that many Rise of Skywalkers. Or,
no, this was just the original
the
trilogy.
Clone Wars or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
This was just the original trilogy because I have several of the despecialized, and the fan copies that are like,
and the one where Luke shoots first and stuff, and
Right.
one where the Death Star is a giant robot.
And,
Yep.
and he puts his wing wang into his sister's
dude.
ear.
There's no wing wang in Star Wars.
No, he kissed her, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that is something. That
He
happened.
nibbled on her ear, right? I mean,
That's almost the same thing.
no. Oh no, she nibbled on his ear as she swung across or whatever.
Nuzzles.
There was nuzzling.
We love the Leia nuzzle. No, I had at least 3 different fan versions.
Attack of the Clones.
I have all of those movies, but I don't have multiple copies of those. Although I had somewhere I had an edit, which was the original trilogy edited, or the prequel trilogy edited down to one movie, which was pretty watchable. I had like 9 copies of A New Hope. Because it's like DVDs and Blu-rays, and then all the fan versions. I'm a pack rat, is what I'm saying, and I fixed it. I'm better now.
Are you?
No. But my hopefully my access point will arrive in the next couple of days, and then I can finally get up to that. It's got a 2.5 gig port, and I'm going to be able to get maybe 5% faster Wi-Fi. Oh, it'll be so not worth it. Let's see. You know what I posted on the list for Tuesday that didn't happen, and then did happen on Thursday, is SpaceX. They scrubbed their Tuesday launch, and then
Well, they got permission.
they had permission for the week.
Then they launched, and it did okay, and then it didn't.
Well, they were pretty honest about it even before.
Yeah, no,
it started.
I thought it was spectacular.
I was actually
big monster of a rocket got that far. Holy crap!
I was having breakfast with that jerk who lost all of those episodes of Geeks in Space. And just as we were leaving,
our lost history.
I know.
Never forget, Jeff Bates.
The proof that we are the oldest internet on the oldest podcast on the internet.
Oldest continually recording.
For sure.
On the internet.
For sure.
Yeah, we can just say we're the oldest one. We can't say we're the oldest continuous one because Bates lost them.
Because of Bates. Anyway, I was watching that right as we were finishing up at breakfast, and it goes up, and then it started twirly in, and then went kaboom.
I just wanted to dance.
They detonated it, which is pretty neat that they could do that. I just think that's fun.
Yeah, they have a good, reliable explodey button.
So we can hate on Elon all we want, and he certainly deserves his share of what dumps upon him. But
I don't want SpaceX to fail, man.
That's the thing that kills me, man.
I don't want Tesla to fail. I don't want them to take a hit because of his wackiness.
I don't want Twitter to fail, but that might be too late for that. I've been on Twitter like maybe 3 times in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I just don't use it anymore.
Why would you? It's just
I'm on Mastodon all the time, so y'all should be there.
I don't know. I just don't care.
That's fair. That's fair.
Sorry.
No, whatever, man. It's your time, and it's not exactly a fruitful use of it.
So you know what is a fruitful use of your time though?
Does it involve laser cutters?
No, I was going to get to that, but
all right.
So there's a channel on the YouTubes, okay, which I enjoy, and it's called BPS Space, and it's this earnest nerd who has been working on rockets just for years and years and years and years and years, and launching them out in the desert, and he's trying to get to 170 kilometers in space, and this is the episode where he makes his own solid rocket motor. And it's just so good. It's so good. So I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for the next episode in this series, because like he talks about how to make it, how to do it safely, and you shouldn't do this, believe me.
Right.
He's like, you might say I'm trying to scare you. It's because I am. If you're not scared, you're not doing it right.
You should be.
It's good. And he talks about how the flame moves through it, and then how the rocket is you've got the liners, you've got the it's really good. It's anyone who loves space has got to watch this series. It's good.
I added it to the zone.
Oh, it's so good, man.
I'll watch it.
Flipping good.
I'll watch it today.
And he talks about making the individual. They're called grains, like in a bullet. Individual grains, which are the layers of the rocket. And how they're shipped for big rockets and small rockets, and where the whole goes. Man, this is such a good episode. So,
well, I will make my time to it tomorrow or today.
There's an open source modeling program for the shape of your interior of your rocket for optimal results. Man, it's so cool.
It's nerdy and it's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the thing, I didn't want SpaceX to fail. I mean, I get that getting where they got to was a remarkable achievement.
I mean, it was like what the most
good on you, Gwen Shotwell.
The biggest rocket ever. I mean,
it's a monster.
It might not have got all the way up, but I mean, they said 15% of the rockets didn't fire.
Well, yeah, no, there was a picture of the. Let me find it. God, where did I see it?
I'm waiting for Scott Manley to fly safe and tell us what's up.
That'll be a good one. Starship engine 6. That shit's just. Remember when we used to have a working search engine?
I mean, I remember a few years there where we didn't really want to make fun of the most popular search engine because one of us worked there.
I know. I would just.
But it's been kind of garbage for a long time.
It really has been.
That's
why they laid me off. Because they were like, "Are you worried about ChatGPT?" And I'm like, "No, I'm worried about search quality and breadth. It sucks."
Well, you know what? I was complaining about this like. Well, we have another friend who works there who I won't name, and I remember having a meal with him and complaining because when I did a search, there wasn't a single thing visible on my screen that wasn't clearly an ad until I scrolled. The entire interface was paid response, and I'm sorry, you have failed us all.
I mean, yeah. Oh, okay. So I think this picture.
I mean, if you want information about sea otters in Hawaii, it's pretty reliable. But other than that, you can't really count on any of it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So this shows 5 of them out, but there was like 6 of them, 7 of them that were out. So, yeah. But it's designed to be able to lose some for sure. So that wasn't the cause of the problem.
No.
Right. The cause of the problem was it refused to separate. So some problem with the coupling between the two. I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist.
It was cool watching it twirl. That's all I'm saying.
It wasn't even that spectacular of a twirl. I mean,
I liked it. It was all like woo 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 woo.
Yeah, well, I mean, it started and they're like boom. It's like okay, load up.
I like the idea that there's just a dude sitting down there and he's got the button, and he's the button.
Well, I know they have automated systems, but there's got to be a guy who comes in like James Earl Jones and Hunt in the Red October and goes, boom, I wasn't here, you didn't see me. I hope they used James Earl Jones for that job. I was like, oh, James, it's time, bud.
You don't think they just have like his digitized voice and they just use it for everything?
It'd be okay.
That's what
okay. I told you I watched The Sting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And his dad's in it. And the second you hear his voice, you're like, is that James Earl Jones? And then it's not. It's his dad. And you're like, oh my God, that's so cool. And did I talk about that on the cast, or was it?
I'm sure you have. We only have like 6
I talk a lot. I'm gonna shut up now. What's next?
Well, speaking of things that we talk about too much, somebody made a Doom map to laser cutter thing. Cool. I mostly shared it because I wanted to say the word WAD a lot. But if you scroll down, it's just kind of neat. They can print out 3-dimensional. They could laser cut segments of Doom maps, and you could, I guess, I don't know, build a coffee table out of it or something. Whatever you'd do
with
with video games. If you scroll all the way down to the end, I think there's some final like what he actually did with it. But all of his tools are available, so if you want to do that yourself, that's neat.
Cool.
That's just neat.
That'd be cool to play a D&D game on, except for, it would always be the same dungeon.
Yeah.
After a while.
Man. I mean, this is like mother's milk for gamers,
I just think that's fun.
It's super fun.
I love when
he should have done registration marks so he could have aligned the acrylic plates better. But
I mean, I would assume that you just put the whole thing in a belt sander, but that's what I would do.
But I'm not editorializing. This is so cool. Whoever did it, awesome.
Mad props to Theo R.
Mad props Thor.
Long ago in days of Thior. Well, let's see. Curiosity got an upgrade. They did a software patch to it on Mars. The interesting thing about the patch is that they added more kind of autonomous stuff so that it can make some choices for itself because the treads ain't working so hot no more. And so this is letting it kind of call an audible for a few things that might occur on Mars. I just think that's cool. That thing's still up there. You know what? The worst part about that update is when they installed the update, it added a bunch of ads to the start menu. So...
So 2012. I mean, this thing's been going a long time. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, I just thought that was fun.
I'm shocked that this thing's lasted that long. I mean, it's really a testament to the engineering,
Yeah. But I mean, that's NASA's deal, right? It either explodes.
Sorry, I didn't share the tab. I'm like,
yeah. Oh no. Well, that's a good idea because I'll
rolling
screenshot
around
that.
Mars. Rolling around Mars.
Now I have a thumbnail. Yeah, I just think that's cool. It's still up there doing things.
Yeah. Which one was going around in like 2007? Was that Spirit? Was that
Spirit and Opportunity?
Yeah, because I used to work at Google, and
you mean that place with a shitty search engine?
It's not all. Fuck. I'm not here to defend Google. Vince Cerf and I got Vince Cerf asked me if I wanted to go with him to JPL, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, how is this even a fucking question? So we go to JPL, and he's Vince Cerf, so they basically carry him around in a litter,
right?
And and everyone's like genuflecting as we pass. It was a little awkward, and so they take us to the Mars simulation room. Where they've basically set up a Mars with the Mars atmosphere.
They set up a Mars.
Yeah, I mean, and the temperature, everything is very Mars-like, so they can test out the rovers and the equipment. And
put on the red goggles.
Oh, so cool! And then we went from there to the driver console for I guess the Spirit rover. And this guy's like, you want to drive it, Vit? He's like, yeah, how do I do that? He's like, just hit this, and it sends a command. And he's like, oh my gosh, So it was.
He crashed it trying to parallel park.
No, he didn't crash it. But they had like this monster console. It was like super battle station. And basically, they would plan out their routes, and then they would send the commands, and it would go, and do the experiments. It was cool.
Science.
Boy, it was cool.
All right, Rob, you shared us this hatchet wielding hitchhiker Netflix story. You want to tell us?
Yeah, what's this about?
So this guy is sitting at home, gets a phone call from some of his friends, and they're like, "Hey, why are you in the hatchet wielding hitchhiker documentary on Netflix?" And he says, "What do you mean?" And it turns out, in a way that no one seems to be able to explain, when they get to the part where in this documentary where the guy starts going rogue, they use a picture of this dude from his Facebook page. And it's not the guy.
They just picked that at random?
No one can seem to no one has an explanation of why this dude is in this documentary, other than someone just found his picture and used it for whatever reason. So he is in this documentary now, and yeah, so he's a little bit miffed about
it. That's seems like that's the sort of thing that maybe should get caught in the fact-checking department.
Hazelwood had no connection whatsoever to the people or events depicted in the film.
That he says. I mean, of course, that's what you'd say.
Yeah. How do we know he isn't really the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker, other than the fact that they have video of the guy and he was very famous on the YouTubes for a long time?
Maybe he works for Fox, and this is just their strategy to make back their $700 million that they have to give to Dominion.
This guy was the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker. He was on all of those shows. He was on the Soups, all that stuff. Yeah,
I think
that's wild.
This is the not hatchet wielder, and this is the hatchet. Oh, I'm so confused, man. But yeah,
it can happen to everybody.
Clear. I guess when was this recorded? It was 2017. So Netflix was playing fast and loose. There were no notes coming from Netflix to producers and directors of these shows. Like they were just like, get it done, get it shipping. So there was like, because normally you would have people saying, where did you get this image? Where did you get this thing? Where did you get this thing? Where's your music from? Da, 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 da. I mean, they're really exhausting, on that stuff because of stuff like this. Because people are like,
for sure,
not a hatchet wielding maniac. Thank you.
Well, this is very much the difference between, like proper traditional media 20 years ago and, the streaming era where we basically said, we're Netflix. We have basically the same level of responsibility to our audience as, hey guys, it's me, Streamer Dave on YouTube.
Most streamers have more responsibility, but
not us. But if we go to jail and we need to do anything to reduce our prison sentences, it turns out there's a new strategy for us, right, Rob?
Yeah, it's rehabilitation through writing book reviews. So they're employing these prisoners to write book reviews, and they get time off for doing so. Now this is in Brazil, of course, so
okay,
certainly not
demands is right.
But it did make me think. I would be interested to know what the most popular book as far as reviews go are in prison, or maybe what genre even. Do they rate stories about breaking out of prison very high, as opposed to other sorts of stories? I just want to know the data.
Oh, something went wrong. Stupid OpenAI.
Okay, here we go.
There you go.
Right. ChatGPT is gonna be taking their jobs.
You just got a month off of your sentence.
Oh, that's great. I don't even speak Portuguese. This could be good. This could be bad. But Carioca Fletch was a real book. It was one of the Fletch series from Gregory McDonald. So, and he goes to Brazil and stuff.
Yeah. All right then.
It was the only Brazilian book I could think of. I guess The Boys from Brazil. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think you can write books read books in English and then write a review in Portuguese. I think that's allowed.
It is.
But I don't know like what the rules are. Like that was the other question. Are they doing it to learn to prove that they've read their book, or are they doing it just to generate book
Oh.
reviews for Amazon?
Yeah, I don't
Neither
know.
of those things. It sounds like it's more of strictly rehabilitation.
Gotcha.
Although, if I remember right, there was a place where you could read some of the book.
Well, that's nice.
The program's called the Prison Reviews. I would read that all day long. I got to tell you.
I
If
mean,
that was a website, I'd check it out.
This book reminded me of the knife I used to stab
Yeah,
my whore
right?
wife. All right, maybe that's not what it's like.
Yeah. That's an interesting take on Charlotte's Web, though.
It's a good knife.
It's a good knife.
Some knife.
Some knife. There you go.
So the thing about, you know, if it doesn't know a thing, it makes things up, right?
Yep.
And so I think
just like us.
Yeah, so like most people.
Yeah. I mean, not for nothing. But yeah, so I asked about Bob Abramo, you know, because and the first response was wildly incorrect. You know, Bob Abramo is one of our bad guys in the game.
I know
And
Bob.
with after graduation, Bobby joined a tech startup. Bobby, you know,
very familiar.
Bob Abramo would never be called Bobby.
Yeah, no, there's no way. Robert or Rob, maybe.
Sir.
Bob, but never Bobby, please. Bobby's life changed forever when the fracture changed. He found himself in a leadership position.
That part's true.
I mean, he's not wrong, you know. And he said all this stuff about using his strong moral compass to guide them. I'm like, true, but not in the way you're saying. I said, that's wildly incorrect. Bob Abramo became mutated and a cannibal after the fracture. And before that, he was a timeshare salesman and a meat entrepreneur and a mean bully.
A meat entrepreneur.
Well, he was. I mean, you know. I apologize for the mistake. Thank you for correcting me. As per your listener, he's a timeshare salesman and meat entrepreneur. Seems like he was not known for a kind nature.
He was not known for his kind nature. It's true. I would say he did adapt to the new world.
Well, you know, ChatGPT is not perfect. Nope. But I've been having fun, obviously.
I can see that. Let's see here. John Deere has been flipping the kill switch on stolen tractors, which I guess is the flip side to the whole thing. There's another story that we didn't put on the list, though, which is that there's apparently some problems with the GPS systems that tractors use to draw their rows.
Went wonky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a bad time to be a farmer, either legitimate or with a stolen tractor.
Well, no, what it was is the Russians were, you know, basically looted a John Deere dealership.
Yeah, and took all the equipment.
And they're like, and no.
Did they learn nothing from the guys that dug the hole into the Apple store?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you know, it's pretty funny. Let me find the satellite story. That was a really interesting one.
That's a weird one. Also, you could tell us why you shared a story about B-17s.
So every once in a while, stories are elevated to me that I'm just like, you know, it's funny that the FAA is grounding one warplane that's left, you know, that we built, 12,500 of them for World War II.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hold on a second, that's not safe. I'm like,
really?
You know, we lost a lot of airmen, you know,
right?
And not because of some flaw in the plane,
right? That's a 75-year-old plane, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, like I thought that there was like an older than 25-year car rule for planes, you know, where it's like once they hit a certain age or prominence,
you got to call that back in for service.
Yeah, so I just thought it was pretty funny.
It's out of windshield wiper fluid.
Yeah, you have to change your blinker fluid.
Yeah, it needs the undercarriage wax.
Yeah.
You know, that
wing spar issues, which I mean, they're not wrong, right? But it's like, can they shore them up?
Plus, they can't park in the Seattle airport anymore.
Well, they actually probably would have gone to Boeing Field there.
Mm.
That's one of these. I think it was a B-17. When they were developing it, it had a problem, and they ended up running into the side of a meat packing building, killed a ton of people, and and when you drive by it, you don't know anything happened, but like I had watched a documentary, and then I was driving through that neighborhood, and I was like, oh man, that's the meatpacking plant. It's like a pizzeria in the basement and stuff. But I'm like, whoa, dude. So yeah.
So,
Anyways, I'm yammering a lot this morning.
that's
I
okay.
apologize.
That's all right. Rob, you shared Unrecord. Is that I didn't read more than the first sentence
Whoa.
because I think I know
Did you watch the
exactly what it's
video?
going to be. Is it what I think it is?
I have no idea what you think it is.
Oh, I was thinking that it would be something horrible, like about how the cop has to not record when he's committing crime.
No.
Not as far as I know.
Because that was my first thought when I read that. I was like, oh no, that would be the most horrible thing.
I shared it because it is probably
It's
one of the most
incredible.
amazing
Yeah.
things I've seen as far as how good it looked.
Ah.
I'm bringing it up. I mean, it's literally incredible.
Like there is a whole
Jesus.
bunch, almost all of their social media right now is arguing with people about whether or not it's real. It is like what a great problem to
Wow.
have as a game studio, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this must have cost a fortune. That's what I'm thinking. So
I bet it did, but the thing is, man, the tools, they're just getting better and better.
I mean, not for nothing. Like we're upgrading to Unreal 5.1.
Yeah, the screenshots for the new Fracture File look so good.
And we're a teeny studio, And this thing though, holy crow. I mean,
Yeah.
Visuals.
It when it first started, you guys are of an age where you probably remember there was that time where they were trying to sell games that you could play on a VHS and watch on your TV.
Oh yeah.
That's what this looked like
The
as far as like
FMV era.
quality of the shot. Like
and the sound effects, I mean, whoa.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell it's a video game because of the way when they fast run out of the frame, and
Yeah, there's a couple spots you can tell, but I mean, it's one of those that
and
you
like
really
the smoke
have to.
isn't quite right, but who cares? I mean, it's whew. One of the truisms of games is that you don't have to be perfect. You can be Minecraft and do well, but
if you can be perfect,
when you have
it
something
doesn't
like
hurt.
this, people are going to buy the game just to experience this.
Well, this is the sort of thing that sells VR helmets.
Man, I'd be petrified to do this in VR.
I'd just throw up.
Tell you. I wouldn't throw up. I'd be pissing my pants. Like there are parts of just this trailer where I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have a heart attack while playing this game.
I was legit afraid that when I saw the write up of this, that it was going to be about a dirty cop who has to stop recording his body cam footage when he's committing a crime. That's what I thought this story was going to be about.
Let's assume that is correct. How is that any worse than playing GTA 3?
Oh, sure.
Right? Okay, so, all right.
Yeah, I mean, look at the reflections, the shadows. He must be using Lumen, right? I mean,
sexy.
Or they wrote their own damn engine. I mean, my gosh,
very sexy.
Man, it's intense. Yeah, so I dropped it in the
all right, let's do a couple more serious ones. Well, serious. We've got a couple that are legit before we just go media. New Zealand feral cat killing competition.
Yeah,
well, they have that. They have that every year.
Yeah, because
this year
they're killing all the Kiwis.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and every other animal there, because there are no large land-based predators. So the feral cats come and literally murk everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
so they've been hunting them for years. There's a bounty on them. They got in trouble this year because someone there was like, why not open up the kid edition, right? Why not open this up to children?
Oh.
And that was a step too far for people, and they got upset. I mean, there's always issues with it every year with people being concerned that their pet cats are going to get shot if they're outside.
Yeah.
Cats that wandered away from home. I mean, legitimate concerns.
Sure.
But I mean, their feral population is devastating the island.
Oh no,
All the
it's
natural
awful.
Yeah.
stuff. So, yeah. But if kids are shooting the cats, that was too much. Everyone was fine with it until they brought out the kids.
Yeah.
Here, kids, have a gun.
Sweet. Thanks.
Welcome to Michigan. I mean, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Michigan has way more guns than New Zealand.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean,
We have more guns than New Zealand has people.
you probably have more guns than New Zealand has sheep, and that's saying something.
Ouch. 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 We got another doozy one. A mayor dumps trash right on the beach so they can clean it up.
They could have won $250. Why don't they want kids to have $250?
Yeah.
All right, you were saying about beaches?
This is in South Korea.
Oh.
And they have like this annual beach cleanup campaign. And they went evidently and looked at the beach. They're like, there's just not enough trash to keep everyone busy all day for our photo ops and all this. So they went out and bought garbage to spread on the beach so that they could go ahead, have the event and get it on camera with the mayor and everyone there helping clean up the garbage that they had just purchased and dumped on the beach.
That reminds me of
I want to point out this is a stock photo.
Sure.
It's literally called Plastic Bottles Beach, France. Like that's not Korea. It's like Newsweek isn't a good. Oh wait.
You want the authentic garbage?
Yeah.
The authentic garbage,
right?
I do. They specifically talk about styrofoam and not one bit of styrofoam in that picture, from what I can remember.
That reminds me of there was a podcast. I think it was like on an episode of 99 PI or something where they talked about how you have a picture in your imagination from films and TV of what a New York back alley looks like, but it turns out there's only like 2 alleys in all of New York that look like a New York back alley, and it's because those same locations are basically the only places that are ever filmed that look like that, and they're apparently they're constantly being rented out in order to shoot crime procedural shows in these 2 alleys. The thing about it is that anytime that anybody has to shoot there, the union rules mean they have to first clean it, then they have to put fake garbage there to dress the set to look like it's dirty, and then when they're done, they have to clean up the fake garbage again. So maybe these guys could work with this village here, this town.
Like One Dirty Beach.
Name of our sex tape.
I like that we had the same reaction but cocked our heads in different directions.
Yeah. All right, so that was everything that we had on the news that's not media. We have the Godzilla versus Kong movie getting a title. What's the title, Rob?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said
Brand New World or something. I didn't share this.
Oh.
Well, I only shared it because I knew you would have to.
Oh.
I mean, this is a Rob story. It's not a Chris story. It's not a Malda story.
No, this is King Kong and Godzilla.
This is about you. So I'm gonna shut up.
But we didn't actually watch the trailer, so we're really well informed.
No, I did. I just don't remember what the title of the Godzilla movie isn't the most important part of it to me. It's that Godzilla stuff is effed up again.
You said there's a space Godzilla this time?
That's what the rumor mill is. That the big bad this time is Space Godzilla.
Is it the new Empire?
Yeah, that's what it is. The new Empire.
Space Godzilla. This is a very Thanos or the Lich King from the old D&D.
I hate to say it.
It's a very lithe King Kong, because that's King Kong up there.
I was thinking Quantum Mania, but that's just all the purples.
Oh yeah,
He looks very orangutan-ish.
Yeah, but the
oh yeah,
Godzilla,
there's the Godzilla
skull and Kong
skulls from nearby islands,
and then oh yeah, from a skull island maybe.
Yep.
And then is this like I know it's a different universe, but could that be a special space turtle?
A Gamera.
You've been waiting for
Yeah.
Gamera to make his pop culture comeback for too long, Chris. I think you might have to let that
I know
one,
he's never coming back.
I know.
He's not part of the Kong.
Dare to
universe,
dream.
Yeah.
Gamera
But
only got big enough to be made fun of on Mystery Science Theater
I
3000. He
know.
didn't get
I
big
love
enough
those.
to star in feature films in the West.
Not with that attitude.
Well, let's get the rights.
Well, there are worse ideas.
That's right.
I mean, not
Although
many.
it would be interesting to me. I believe it was Marvel that had the comic book rights to Godzilla. So, maybe wave 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Ooh.
we start bringing Godzilla in stuff and he becomes a member of the Avengers, right? Because they have to replace like Hawkeye.
Because he
They
got hurt.
replace him with so they replace him with Godzilla.
I gotta tell you, man, if I gotta choose from building a fighting force and my choice is between a guy who wears purple and shoots a bow and arrow and Godzilla, I choose Godzilla every time. Or Gamera. Any kaiju, frankly.
In Gamera, Wings of Destiny. I mean,
there we go.
That's good. Well, it'd be Shell of Destiny.
Yeah, the
He doesn't
Shell of
have
Destiny.
wings,
The Shell of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's see. Media season finale of Picard was yesterday.
I watched
And how
it.
was it?
I loved it. It was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. I thought it got a little stupid at the end, but
Sure.
But yeah, it was all right.
I felt like
if
this season. Oh, go
if
ahead.
you're really excited to see an old Data act childlike for
Right?
a bit, it's for you, I guess.
Well, they got to
They
go
threw
hang
in-
out on the deck of the Enterprise. They
it
got
was-
to.
So this whole season, I think, was probably the best season of Picard, but that
By a
isn't saying
country
whole lot.
mile.
But it is absolutely. I kind of feel like the writer sat down and they're like, okay, everyone break out the bowl of member berries, and
Yep.
we are gonna write the end of this. And
We're real sorry about the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, we're gonna try to sail this shit boat across the sea
Yep.
with a little dignity. And that's kind of what they came up with.
That's
There's some neat
exactly what it
parts of
was.
There's some neat parts. The end kind of felt like they were really stretching to get everyone who had ever been in any of the Star Treks in even the title, The Last Generation
Yeah.
at the end. And the plot is all the old people are fine, all the young people aren't for reasons. So
Right?
all the old retired folks gotta get out of retirement and
Here you go,
and
Gen
fight
X.
everything.
Gen X, do you still feel good? Also, we're gonna have our big finale. It's gonna be exactly like a Death Star. It's gonna be exactly like Return of the Jedi.
Exactly. And then for a little comic relief, you'll get to see Worf fall asleep on the bridge because he's old now and he's had a rough day.
Yeah. He's tuckered out.
Poor
He is,
fella.
and that's. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not.
You're not kidding.
I'm
No.
not kidding. There's
Nope.
there's the actual scene where old Worf has had a busy day.
Old Worf had a
Hilarious
busy day.
that he's asleep at the comms.
I thought it was great. I thought that the way they handled that was really funny. You're right. If you object to the member berries part of Picard season 3,
What have you been watching it for, though? I mean,
well, for sure. Seasons 1 and seasons 2, though, I didn't feel like those characters were the characters from the Next Generation. They were the actors, but they didn't feel to me like the same characters. They were just, but that's the same problem with the movies too, right? They don't quite feel like the same people.
I felt like the only thing they were missing is working in the oil monster that kills Tasha Yar and the crystalline entity. If they had those two things,
they would have had it all.
They would have covered everything, right? Maybe the giant space baby that is feeding on the power cells. Do you remember that one?
Or those little the little sentient robot things.
Yes.
Remember?
But again, I felt like they walked that line. They were self-aware of what they were doing it, and they didn't, for me anyway, they didn't break it in the same way that the first 2 seasons did.
And let me be clear, I don't know that with what they had and what they were trying to do, they could have written it any better.
Yeah.
it was kind of satisfying. There were some neat parts of it.
I believe it. Yeah.
It is just so exactly what you would expect it to be.
Yeah, I've got a long flight coming up, and I was gonna get those, binge
Yeah,
this
check it out.
season.
It's fun. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. Which,
Yep.
unlike Mando, where the wheels really kind of fell off of old Mando this
Ooh.
year.
Sorry, yeah, I know how much you like
Woof.
it.
Yeah, that season finale. First of all, it's like it's only 38 minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
And it was like 27 minutes of one action sequence for which you're
Yes.
not really invested.
I think you're being generous. I think that whole episode is just one big action sequence, right? Except for the very end.
Yeah, there's
Right,
a
where-
couple of codas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this in the past though. Like it turns out I was really on board for the Wanderer and his ward. And I'm
Sure.
really not interested in watching Mandalorian Civil War and Planet Reclamation.
Yeah.
I
If
can't
you
believe
wanted-
they defocused from Grogu. I mean,
Well, they focus on him just in a different way. Like
yeah,
what made that show so great is that it was lone wolf and cub
yeah,
in
it was
the Star Wars universe.
it was platonically perfect. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
And then they kind of switch off that and decide that I think one of the worst things probably for that show, the best and worst thing for sure, is just how popular Baby Yoda got.
Yeah.
Right. Because then they made it so that, okay, now he's got to fly through the air. I mean, he fights the elite guard by himself in the most ridiculous way at the end, and just
that didn't bother me. But
he's riding around in that robot
whimsy.
He's riding around that robot like Krang, pressing, just smashing the no button that says no and yes.
It's great. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I can understand how somebody might not enjoy that. But my inner child,
that
very
part
happy.
That part was kind of funny, especially when he was hitting no and was being bad, right? But like when he comes to save the day and that ridiculousness,
the good thing I think is that I think the show was aware of where it was headed, and they ended it with a pretty clear reset button.
Sure.
Like, all right, it's just next season's just going to be Mando and Grogu again. We're sorry. We know things went a little off the rails.
We're back to bounty hunting off the books again, just like we were at the beginning.
That's right. Are there any good movies coming out?
Have you guys been watching Succession or Barry? Barry just came out.
Barry just came back.
2 episodes up on the Hobos.
I just finished season 1 of Succession.
Boy, it's good. I got to tell you, Barry, holy crap. Bill Hader, he was a funny guy, right? Mr. Funny guy. But then this thing comes out, you're like, who knew he had it in him?
I'm going to go back to that one.
Boy.
Everybody says that I watched like the first 2 episodes of it, and I think it just didn't click. I got to give it another chance because everybody says that.
Yeah, man. Good.
Is there
and honestly, there's some characters in that show I freaking hate, and I'm like, man, they're good actors if I hate them this much. Boy, I hate some of the actors in that show. I mean, just hate them. And I haven't known hate like this since Breaking Bad.
There's nothing coming out this week, next week. Man, we're kind of in a little bit of a hole.
Lull.
Did you know that on April 28th, Return of the Jedi is actually coming out for an IMAX re-release for like a week?
Okay.
I kind of want to see that.
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it? Well, I'm looking at the upcoming film list, and there's nothing until May that I care about. It looks like, but then, like in May, it's just like bam, 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 bam. I'm gonna have to be in the movie theater. We got Guardians of the Galaxy, and we've got.
I don't know. I hope it's good, but I worry it's not gonna be good.
I'm gonna be okay with it, I think, but I also rewatched Quantum Mania last night, and that was a hard second watch.
How was it second time around?
So here's what I'll say. I enjoyed Wakanda Forever more the second time through. I thought that I still don't think it was a great movie, but I enjoyed it at least a little more the second time through. It still's a hot mess of a movie, and it's still a train wreck, whatever. I think Quantum Mania, I enjoyed a little less the second time through. Like it just without because there's a lot of really good funny jokes, I think, in Quantum Mania. There's a lot of really funny, silly stuff. But when you know it's already there, the silly doesn't have a lot of replay value, and the action sequences get kind of boring.
Yeah.
I was bummed.
You sound bummed.
I was hoping for Quantum Mania. I really was.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was going to be the thing. Do we
I
have
don't
any
know.
other media we want to cover? Or should we say goodbye
I
to
can
the
think
internet?
of.
I need to.
Rock and roll?
Yeah.
All right. Then farewell, Chris DeBona.
Bye.
And farewell, Rob Roseboom.
See you, bye.
That was episode 784 of Geeks in Space. I
The
was Rob Commander Taco
oldest.
Malda. Bye.
Oldest podcast.